2, 1. Thank you guys today for tuning in once again to Neighborhood Watch Podcast or wherever you heard this podcast. I am your host, King Williams. I'm talking to, let me turn off my notifications, but I'm talking to Mr. Jamil Jude of Kenny Leon's True Colors Theater. They have done a really excellent job in terms of programming and providing cultural enrichment. I know that sounds really academic, but honestly, the programs that they put on really are an enrichment to the Metro Atlanta community. If you don't know about Kenny Leon, he is a famous creative here in Atlanta. He has contributed a lot in the world of arts and entertainment here. And so his theater company, True Colors, has been putting on plays for decades now. I'm assuming decades of just quality work throughout the Atlanta area. And I'm talking to their executive director today to figure out how have they been affected by COVID-19 and the shutdown. And as of today, which is the 29th of April, a lot of businesses are slowly starting to open up. Most are not opening up. The governor of Georgia has not necessarily said anything about the arts and entertainment community yet, but there are things opening up regardless of what the science says. And so we're going to be talking about all these things today. So without further ado, I'll let him introduce himself. But thank you, Jamil, for taking out the time to talk to me today.
Hey, no problem, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. And so I just want to first, before we start, so what do you do with True Colors?
Yeah, so at True Colors, I serve as artistic director, producing artistic director. So the tasks are, I'm in charge of the creative content that the organization puts out. Mostly that's our plays and community conversations, where we are speaking to the civic aspects of our work. So we talk at True Colors, we talk about thriving at the intersection of artistic excellence and civic engagement. And my role is really to make sure that we are serving both of those needs, producing high quality art, but making sure that the art that we do has impact in our community and that both of those things are speaking to one another. I manage the organization along with an managing director,
Okay.
finance and things like that. But my main job is about the artistic output.
Okay. And so just on that end, can you let people know some of the stuff you guys have done in the past, some of the works you guys have done?
Yeah, so this year we've been celebrating Black women storytellers all season long. So we had a show that was called Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play that was set in Ghana in 1986. And it really explored, colorism. It explored the diaspora and how young women are being affected by European beauty standards and the links that some young women are going to uphold and to conform to those unrealistic beauty standards. We hosted some community conversations around that. One was titled My Black is Beautiful, where we had a panel of Black women from ages 17 to 65 talking about their experiences as growing up as Black women, their experiences with colorism, their experiences with beauty standards, finding their own understanding of self and understanding of beauty and things like that. So that's just what we were doing in January, February. Other shows we've done, our founding artistic director, Kenny Leon, had a deep relationship with August Wilson. So we've done a lot of August Wilson plays. We are an organization that wants to tell Black stories. And so over the last 17 years of our history, that's what we do. We tell Black stories on stage, and we have really upped our game into making sure that the stories just don't live on the stage, but that the real life people in our communities who are experiencing things similar to the characters on stage have an opportunity to speak about those experiences.
Okay. And so I got to ask in that regard, so are you guys based in a particular location, or do your works throughout Atlanta?
Our primary theater venue is the Southwest Arts Center, run by the city of South Fulton, formerly by Fulton County. That's primarily where we perform our plays. We do our community work in a variety of communities. We want to make sure that we are actually reaching and touching the communities that we want. and then we've also explored some other performance venues in the past, but right now we primarily perform out of the Southwest Arts Center.
Okay. And before COVID-19, it seems as if you guys like had a really, I love what you guys are doing. You guys had a really great direction. You guys have a really great vision, and you're actually executing on it. In particular, with Kenny Leon's ensemble, this is going to sound offensive, and I apologize in advance. The notion of Black theater and Black creative kind of seems for a lot of people to either be Chitlin Circuit kind of plays or like the Mama Church plays. And not to say there's anything wrong with that, but you guys do put in a certain level of quality, a certain level of care into your work. And have you noticed any people, when regards to the quality of work that you put out, that people are kind of always surprised that it's a Black theater company that does this?
Yeah, I'm not offended by your question at all, because I think it's something we have to navigate all the time. It's like, what is a Black theater company? What kind of work should you expect? Have you historically expected from a Black theater company versus a traditional regional theater? I think the thing that we say about True Colors is that we are the best of both worlds, in the sense that like we are founded under regional theater principles and like ideas. Kenny ran the Alliance Theater in Atlanta for 10 years prior to establishing True Colors Theater. I grew up in the regional theater, and so have a lot of my staff members. So the way that a lot of other theater companies are run is not too dissimilar from the way we run True Colors. But because of our storytelling focus, because all of our staff is Black, the culturals and the culture and the tradition of Black people is imbued all throughout our organization, and it's also how we choose to tell story. The things in the familiarity that people have with, quote unquote, Chitlin Circuit plays or urban theater market plays, where audiences are talking back, or the stories on stage feel familiar and they speak to your humanity in a different way that you may not get in a regional theater. You'll also see that at True Colors. But you're going to see high production value. We're going to spend a lot on our sets. Costumes are extremely important to us. Lighting, projection design. Like, we're really going to look to knock that stuff out the park. Where the things that I think when people think about some quality challenges around certain work, it's maybe because the investment is not the same in the production aspects as they're investing so much in the talent or work that's on stage. So,
right. And the reason why I brought that up is because this is, again, pre-COVID-19. It was really thoughtful to see a lot of the things you guys did. And the way I even met you was at an event that you guys threw. Can you explain what that was?
Yeah, it was a panel. In the fall, in September of 2019, we put on a show called Paradise Blue by Dominique Morisseau. And while the play was set in the 1940s in Detroit, it really explored how a neighborhood called Black Bottom in Detroit, they were starting to see the beginnings of really cultural erasure, where a new mayor had been elected to the city, a racist mayor, Mayor Kobo, and he wanted to rid the city of what he called the blight of the city, and you can read that as the Black people. So the city was, in this play, the community members are fighting to hold on to their area. We know here in the city of Atlanta, the Atlanta metro area, that we have been waging that fight for a long time. Whenever people felt like the city of Atlanta was safe again for them to reinvest, we have slowly seen people want to come in and take over historically Black neighborhoods and communities because they see it as, hey, here's an opportunity for me to get a cheap investment, or here's a culturally rich area that I want to live in. So people have been fighting that flow of gentrification. You were on a panel kind of speaking to that moment, like, how has the city of Atlanta changed, and what can we do to ensure that when the change, because it's inevitable, but when the changes happen, that the people who lose out aren't always the Black and brown people who have come to know and support and really advance the culture of the city for the last, since forever, but definitely since we have Black mayors. How can we make sure that the Black people aren't losing out in this new era of progress?
Right. And the reason why I brought that up is because I really enjoyed that panel. And the panel had a lot of different people across the spectrum. And it brings me to something that makes Kenny Leon unique. And even where you guys are in South Fulton now, there's not too many places in America, and I'm willing to say this, that where you can see that level of a Sunday afternoon, Black people of every type of class, like structure, upper class, middle class, lower class, with a panel that kind of reflects the same in a very Black city like South Fulton in the United States. And it was honestly got me going as to thinking like who is else, like what other cities able to do that? And I know DC will probably be mad, but I think maybe outside of the DMV, I don't think that can happen anywhere else. Like the level of people who are like thinking about things and thinking about things critically, or acting and supporting the arts critically. It seems very unique to Atlanta now at this point in a way that's not across the United States. And I bring that up because, you know, the COVID-19 is not now really starting to affect a lot of organizations. And I wanted to know, has that affected you guys?
Yeah, so I'll answer your question. I just want to just quickly just touch back to what you just said. It's that, that's something that we speak about all the time, that we feel like at True Colors, we are so unique. And what sets us apart from any other theater in the nation and all the things that you talked about, it is our specific storytelling slant, right? We want to tell Black stories. And we want to tell those stories to the people who live those stories daily, right? So that's that civic engagement piece. And there is no other city and there is no other area like that South Fulton area where you have such a high, you have wealth distribution, but you have Black people in every wealth strata, and they all want to hear a story, and they all care about their community and are deeply invested in their community. So we really struck gold in that way. How have we been affected by this COVID-19? I think one is our programming structure. We do about 3 shows a year. We have a show that closes in March, early March, March 8th. And then we normally don't do another show until July. This year we moved the summer show up pre-COVID-19 to go on in June, but we normally have a gap between early March and mid-July where we aren't producing a play. So because here we are in this COVID-19 moment, we weren't really set to do any productions. So we didn't miss an opportunity. We haven't yet missed an opportunity to be in front of our audiences. What we have done, though, is that we've taken advantage of the fact that no theater is getting people to come into their houses. So now we have an opportunity to re-engage with our audiences. So we put out a podcast series where every week I'm talking about a specific idea. I'm bringing on guests, sharing a little bit more about the True Color story. We've rolled out a blog. We're doing a couple more digging into the archives, pulling out videos and sharing them with people. So we've actually found more engagement with our audiences in this March, April, May time slot than what we normally would have if we were only producing our 3 shows a year.
I like it. And so, wait, I got to ask, what's the name of the podcast?
Right now it's just called True Colors Podcast, hashtag True Colors Podcast. And I had an idea to call it True Talk, True Talk Podcast, but I'm still workshopping the names, man. Sometimes my staff, they get mad because I try to make everything alliterative. So I'm either giving you an exclusive that now it's called True Talk Podcast, or you'll see me get voted down and there'll still be True Colors Podcast for this foreseeable future.
Okay. And now I also want to ask, where can people find that at?
We're on, right now we have it on our website, truecolorstheater.org. We have it on Instagram on our IGTV channel. So if you just go to @TrueColorsTheater on Instagram, you can find all 5 episodes. We're also on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. And right now we've recorded the audio. We've stripped the audio from the video. So we're going to do an audio only version. So if you don't want to see our faces, but you just still want to get the content, we'll be putting that up. Hopefully wherever you get your podcast, that'll be coming out in May. We'll put all of the archived, all of the episodes up on a podcast platform. So we'll be doing that real soon.
Okay. I like it. And so I want to go back to it for a second, which is a lot of companies, like you said before, aren't doing anything. And you guys have a really interesting re-engagement strategy. Is that going to affect the June showing, or is that going to be pushed as well? Is that kind of up in the air?
Yeah, so I mean, about a month ago or so, we made the decision to postpone our June production
Okay.
uh, for a couple of reasons. One, right, like you don't win any medals on being the first people to open back up, right? You
Yeah.
know, like and the numbers probably show that you are not helping the situation by being the first people to open back up. So even though, Governor Kemp has allowed certain businesses to open, and it seems like we'll continue to open up more businesses, it's conceivable that we would be able to rehearse a play because it's only two people. We could rehearse that play, keep everybody safe, and have a show in June. But will public confidence be in a place where people actually want to be in an enclosed environment? Um, people always cough in a theater, right? Like
Yes.
if you want to hear a moment of silence interrupted by a cough, go to a play, right? So, and we just don't want to, have a play happen. Someone coughs because they always do, and then everybody now for the rest of the time is thinking, did that person just get me sick, right? Um, so we felt like let's wait for a while until we can get the public confidence back up to where people want to be near each other, even if we kept some spacing and distancing. June is just not the time to do it. Now, if we do a show in June, July, August, we are considering doing it outside as well. So we've been looking at that as a possibility, and maybe doing something in an amphitheater because it is a play about um, mid 20th century musician, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Um, it kind of lends itself to that outside amphitheater style. So we may do that as well.
Okay. Because you kind of walked into my next question, which is, I know you can't give everything away right now, but social distancing for a business like you're in, which is a very, very people, very tight quarters kind of space. Like, have you guys thought about how that's going to look now when you do open up, or is it still being developed?
Yeah, man, it's definitely still being developed. I mean, I think I've been talking to colleagues from around the nation just about like, what are our plans? Um, we have limited seating capacity, which means that there is a limit for every show on the amount of money that we can bring in, right? Like, I mean, we can only bring in so as many seats as we have. So we're greatly reducing our capacity, to turn a profit if we say, well, everyone needs to be 6 feet apart. Well, that could, reduce our 375 seat venue to 100 seats to make sure everyone is properly spaced. But what do you do if I want to come with, my significant other? Can I sit next to my significant other? How
Yeah.
does that then affect how we have to lay out the seating and things like that? So, we're running through all these machinations and how we allow for that, how we account for that. It's not going to be easy. We know that for certain. But
Okay.
I think the right approach, or at least the approach that we're taking, is time will tell us more. And if we are patient, then it will lead us to better decision making, as opposed to rushing just to get back out there to engage with our audience or to make some business. Um, a slower approach may actually prove to be more beneficial for us.
Okay. And so this is another question. Just it might be a little too close to you guys' personal business, but you're a theater. Theater companies need money. They need programming. So have you guys thought long term? What does it look like if you can't really safely open up until 2021?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think what we know is that theater companies we just tell story,
Mhm.
and so our patrons come to us to receive story, right? Theater, we want a live experience. We want to see the magic of, we want to suspend our disbelief. We want to be transported into a world and have it represented visually, and things like that. So we know that there's always, hey, the value of theater is always a thing. So how can we give that? Does that mean we need to live stream um, performances and not have anyone in the audience, but people get to see that? Sure, that's a thing, and it could work. There are questions on how that makes us different from shorts or movies or things like that, but
Yeah.
that's something that we can handle down the line. We are also, as a nonprofit organization, we are reliant on contributions, whether that be from corporations or government entities, or definitely individuals. So we know that because we have been giving story to Atlanta communities and national communities for over 17 years, in this moment, we're also going to have to say, y'all, like, we know that everyone is struggling, but if you want us to be a storytelling place for when we get back, we could use your support. Even your $5 could go a long way in helping us out. And then I think, man, Zoom has taken off, WebEx has taken off. People are using their technology in new ways. I'm seeing people are reading plays virtually. Well, can we perform plays virtually? Like if I got a costume and a basic scenic setup in someone's house, could they still act out the play via digital with someone else? What would that look like? It won't look like a play like we normally see it, but it could be a theatrical moment all unto itself. And those are some things that True Colors could probably be an innovator on as well.
Okay. Now, it's good to see that you guys are being real proactive. And so one of my last questions is, I know you said you're talking to a lot of people in the theater community. What has been the overall temperature of like everyone right now in the Atlanta theater community?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the Atlanta theater community has been extremely collaborative. Like we are all recognizing like, all right, what are the steps that we can take together to make sure that our sector stays strong? Here in Atlanta, I think we are always talking about access to resources, be them financial or physical or what have you. But it's been a really collaborative moment where we are all on conference calls, email chains, saying like, hey, I used this bank and I got my PPP funding, or I'm in the waiting list and I went directly to the SBA to find it, or hey, our EIDL paperwork, just resource knowledge sharing. And that's been really, really, that's been nice. But all of our theaters are just so unique as far as like what we do. And our relationships, like Dad's Garage has a different setup and vibe than what we do. Their improv form and where they're pulling their performance from is just different than ours, where we have things that are a little bit more scripted most of the time, and require a different level of investment. So I've been thankful for the collaboration that I've seen, but I think we all recognize that this moment is going to impact each theater differently, and we're all just trying to do what we do the best that we can to make it through.
Okay. And now, is there anything that you want people to know that's either coming from yourself directly or from True Colors, or anything people should still be on the lookout for when eventually it does open up?
Yeah, man. I would say that that podcast series, we're having a lot of fun with it. We're on IG Live. We do it live on Instagram Thursdays at True Colors Theater. So at True Colors Theater on Instagram, 1 p.m. on Thursdays, we go live, and it's a lot of fun, man. We're giving advice to early career artists. We are talking about the ups and downs of the theater industry. We're talking about Black storytelling. We're talking about the role that arts can play in Atlanta or in any city, how important arts are to that conversation. But our engagement, that's just the start of it, right? Go to our website. We're going to keep people, giving them access to the work that we're doing. So I'm really, really excited by that, the way that my staff is really taking on to this challenge of how do we speak up to the moment. So we're not backing up. This is the wrong time. If you were thinking that this is the time to tune off True Colors, you're going to miss a lot. You're going to miss a lot of really cool content that we'll be rolling out.
Okay, and once again, can you let people know the IG handles, Facebook handles, just wherever people can find out about True Colors?
Yeah. So truecolorstheater.org is our website. That's the best place to come and find us. If you're on Instagram, we are at True Colors Theater, and we spell theater THEATRE. So True Colors Theater on Instagram. On Facebook, you can find us at Kenny Leon's True Colors Theater. just in your search bar. We're on Twitter. Our handle there is at KL True Colors. So we're trying to be as connected as possible to the people who have supported the work that we've been doing for the last 17 years.
Okay, and if people want to donate to you guys online, is there availability to do that yet? Or
yeah, man, truecolorstheater.org. You'll click the big donate button. You can be a recurring donor if you'd like to sign up for like that monthly donation service, or if you want to do a one-time thing, we're happy to take any gift, large or small. Truecolorstheater.org is the best way to donate.
okay, thank you once again, man. Thank you so much for taking out time to do this. I know you guys have just have a whole new set of like challenges, but you're rising to it. I love what you guys do, and when it does open up, I can't wait to be back out in South Fulton to see what you guys are doing.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks, brother.
All right. One last thing. If you guys have heard this podcast anywhere, this is the Neighborhood Watch podcast. You can hear this on iTunes or SoundCloud, or if you listen to this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe on whatever those platforms that you interacted with this at. My name is King Williams. If you want to reach out to me, you can always reach out to me on all social media channels at I am King Williams. So again, on all social media channels at I am King Williams. Or if you want to follow the Neighborhood Watch podcast on all social media platforms, it is Watch the Hood. So again, Watch the Hood on all social media platforms. Thank you very much again. And you guys, please support True Colors Theater. They really, really do excellent work. And I cannot say this enough. They're a great Atlanta institution. Make sure you guys support, donate if you can, or tell a friend who can donate. All right. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in.